Hi, everybody. This is a brief discussion of the differences between gerunds and infinitives. A gerund is formed with ing, and infinitives are formed with to. Okay, and gerunds and infinitives can do several jobs. Both gerunds and infinitives can be the subject of a sentence. For example, writing in English is difficult. To write in English is difficult. Another job that both gerunds and infinitives do is that they can be the object of a verb. I like writing in English. I like to write in English. Only gerunds can be the object of a preposition. We are talking about writing in English. Okay, and these verbs are normally followed by the gerund form. For example, I adore reading your books. They anticipated winning the elections. I detest going to discos. We postpone making any decision in the meeting. And these verbs are normally followed by the infinitive form. For example, I can't afford to go to the pub. He agreed to practice more. So remember that the American version of practice is spelled with CE. You should learn to express yourself. They managed to fix the problem. Okay, slide 5, gerunds and infinitives have no difference in meaning. We use the gerund or infinitive after the following verbs. Begin, he began talking, he began to talk, for example. So these verbs begin, continue, hate, like, love, prefer, start, can be followed by a gerund or the infinitive, and there is no change in the meaning of the sentence. Okay, slide 6. We use the gerund or the infinitive after the following verbs. There are two possible structures after these verbs: gerund verb plus ing, or infinitive verb plus person plus to infinitive. So it's either they advise walking to town or they advise us to walk to town. They do not allow smoking here. They do not allow us to smoke here. They encourage doing the tests versus they encourage us to do the tests. Permit, they do not permit smoking here. They do not permit us to smoke here. However, we use the following structure with the verb recommend. They recommend walking to town versus they recommend that we walk to town. And these verbs will have a different meaning when used with gerund or infinitive. For example, he'll never forget spending so much money on his first computer means that he will never forget buying his first computer. When forget is used followed by an infinitive phrase, that changes the meaning of forget. It means please remember to spend money on the tickets. That means that someone is giving you a reminder to spend money on the tickets. And the gerund with go, when it is followed by go on reading, that means continue. But when you say go on to read, that means proceed to read the text. And when you say mean, that means phoning your mother. That means, in other words, you need to phone your mother. If you say I meant to phone your mother, that means I was supposed to phone your mother. I was supposed to, but I didn't because my cell phone didn't work. When you use I remember plus verb ing, this means that you will never forget. You will never forget this. You will always remember doing this. But when somebody says, remember to switch off the lights, that means someone is giving a reminder, giving you a reminder to turn off the lights. And when we say stop reading the text, that means quit. Quit reading the text. But if you say stop to read the text, that means first stop and then read the text. When we use try, why don't you try? That means why don't you experiment with this method? Why don't you experiment with running after the dog? Whereas when you say I tried to run after the dog, but I was too slow, that means that you were not successful. Even you wanted to run, but you were too slow. So it's more like saying I wanted to run after the dog, but I was too slow to catch up with the dog. And let's see. Okay, there's one exercise you can do in this PowerPoint. And it's very short, and the answers follow on slide 9. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you have any more questions about gerunds and infinitives, I can import some gerunds and infinitive slides to Quizlet. Thank you for watching.